Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with the same module, that is the object-oriented programming, and the same chapter, that is chapter number 9, that is pointers, virtual functions and the polymorphism. In the last class we have discussed about the pointers, that is how to use the pointers, how to use them with the string. Then in today's class I am going to continue with the same, that is how to use the pointers with different arrays, structures and union. So let's start the session. Start with the session what we covered in the last class, then moves to the today's class session, how to use the pointers with different concepts, right? So let's start with the previous class session, that is the pointer and the string. In last class we have discussed that how to use the pointers with what is the relationship between the pointer and the string. So string is nothing but of the character, that is array of characters that is end or that ends with the null character, that is a string. So pointers are very efficient tool to access the two-dimensional and multi-dimensional arrays in C++. There is a definite relationship between the arrays and the pointer, that is pointers and the strings are used for their relationship, that is used to handle the special kinds of array, that is a string with the pointers. So string is a one-dimensional array of characters which start with the index 0 and ends with the null character, null in the C++. So what is the string? That start with the 0 and ends with the, that start with the index 0, that is its first position is in the memory is at the index 0 and it ends with the null character, that is null character in C++. A pointer variable can access a string by referring to its first character. As we know, there are two ways of assigning a value to a string. What are the two ways? Either using the character array or either using the null array. That is, there are two ways to use the character string. So we have discussed how to use the pointers with the string, that is it always starts with the index 0 and end with the null characters. This is one of the example. This is ONE1, so that start with the 0, then there is a it start with the O, then N, then a E, then there is a null character. So one more extra space is required in the memory to organize the string, that is usage of the, that is used for the null characters, right? So this is the example that shows how to use the pointers, how to use the array. So this is hash include iostream.h, then hash include string.h, then there is a void main, then char str equals to test, that is a string equals to test, then int len equals to str len str, that is a str len function is used to find out the string that is used. Then there is a for int I equals to 0, I is less than len, then there is a I plus plus, then see out str I str a pointer str plus I. Then for reversing a string, this is the method that is used for dividing by 0, then len minus minus, then there is a for loop that is used for dividing or for multiplying the len values, then adding the value, that is a string, then string len minus 1. So this is the way that how the string will be reversed. Then we have discussed how to use the pointers with the function, that is a pointer to the function. We have studied that functions are nothing but a subprograms or the parts of the program, chunks of the program. That is when we divide the main program into subparts, that is known as the functions. So functions are the subprogram or the parts of the program, that is a function. Now this application, this we can say this topic says that how to use the pointers with the functions. So even though pointers to functions are introduced in C, they are widely used in C++ for dynamic binding and event-based application. The pointer to a function is known as the callback function. So whenever we use the pointer with the function, that is known as the callback function. We can use these function pointers to refer to the function. That is, we can use the functions with the pointers or the pointer with the functions. Using function pointers, we can allow a C++ program to select a function dynamically. So whenever we use the functions with the pointer, they are that is used for dynamically allocates the memory or dynamically allocates the C++ program. So C++ also provides two types of or two kinds of function pointers. One is known as the function pointer, that is that refers to the static member. One is the function pointer that refers to the non-static member function. So there are two types of function pointers. One is for the static member functions, one is for the non-static member functions. So these two function pointers are incompatible with each other. The function pointer that points to the non-static member functions required hidden arguments. Like other variables, we can also declare a function pointer in C++. It takes the following form. So what are the form that is used? That is, it takes the form like data type, then there is a pointer, then there is a function name, then there is a parenthesis that is available. That is data type, then pointer, then there is a function name, then there is a parenthesis. So as we know, the data type is any valid data type that is used in C++. The function name is the name of the function that must be preceded by a asterisk. So it is preceded by a asterisk. Then we have also seen that how to use the functions with the pointers. That is a example that we have discussed in the last class. That is how to use the pointer with the function that is known as the pointers to a function. So first of all, there is a header file, then there is a type def, that is a type definition is given as it is defined the functions, then void add for adding the values, then subtract for subtracting the values, then void main, that is fun ptr, then it is assign or it is taking the values of the or address of the a, then ptr12 and then these are the various steps how to use them. So this is the function that is, or this is the function, we can say the function calling by which the ptr has some values like 3 and the 2. Now next is pointers to an object, that is how to the or how to use the pointers with an object. That is a today's topic, that is how the pointers can refers to the object of the classes, that is a pointers to object. So we already seen that how to use the pointers to access the class members. As stated earlier, a pointer can point to any object that is created by a class. So object is nothing but it is a part of the class, it is an object of the class, it is that is created by the class. So pointer can point to any object that is created by a class. Consider the following statement. So this is the statement that is given. There is item x. That is item x. That is item is a class as x is a object that is used. Similarly, we can define a pointer that is it, that is it underscore ptr of the type item. That is itptr is the pointer variable that is used, that is of the class item. So that is item pointer itptr that is used. Object pointers are useful in creating the objects and at the runtime. So object pointers are also used in creating the object that is used at the runtime. So that can be used for the public members of an object that is used. There is a class item. Then there are two variables, that is a data member that is used. One is the code, one is the price. So code is of integer type and the price is of float type. Then there is a public, that is a public member is used. Then there is a void get data, that is get data is the name of the function that is used and that has a return type void, and there are two arguments, that is a int a and the float b. Then code equals to a, price equals to b, that is a will be assigned to the code and the b will be assigned to the price. Then void show for showing the or displaying the output, that is the code and the price, that is getting the output. So there is a cout code, then there is a code that is to be displayed, then cout price, that is the price will be displayed. So there are two data members and there are two member functions that is available. Data members are code and the price, and the member functions are get data and the show function, and then class will be closed. Now let us declare an item variable x and a pointer ptr to the x as follows. So x is the object, or we can say the variable of the class item. So there is a item x, that means a pointer that is an object that is used, that is of the class item. Then item pointer ptr equals to ampersand of x, that is a ptr is the pointer variable that stores the address of the x. So x is the address variable, or x is the object that is of class item that contains that is of or the address of the x, that is the address of the object, that is x is contained in the pointer ptr, that is a pointer ptr. The pointer ptr is initialized with the address of x. That is the pointer PTR is initialized or is given with the address of the X. So address of X, this is the address of X that is applied to the pointer PTR. We can refer to the member function of item in two ways. That is, we can use the object with the pointers in two ways, either using the dot operator or either using the object. And another way is using the arrow operator. So whenever we use the address, that is the pointers, that is used with the arrow operators and the object pointers. And whenever we use simply object, that is used with the dot operator and the object. This is the example, that is the x dot get data. That is the get data is a member function that is used, and there are two values that is passed. One is the 100, one is the 75.50. Then x dot show for displaying the output on the screen. That is the x dot show function. So get data is an function that is called. So these two values can be supplied to the get data function. That means the code is assigned, because there are two parts, that the code and the price. Code is of integer type, so the 100 that is of integer type will be assigned to the code, and the 75.50 that is a price that will be assigned to the, that is a float type, that will be assigned to the price, that is a 75.50. This is 100, this is 75.50. Similarly, or since PTR is an alias of X, we can also use the following method. So this is also used, that is because X is or the X address is contained in the pointer PTR. So this can be used, that is pointer PTR dot show function that is used. The parentheses are necessary because the dot operator has higher precedence than the indirection operator. That is, the dot operator has a higher precedence than the indirection operator, that is a pointer. So parentheses are very mandatory in case of this function, that is the pointer PTR dot show function. The parentheses are necessary because the dot operator has higher precedence than the indirection operator. We can also create the objects using the pointers and the new operators as follows. So we can also create the object that is used with the pointers and the new operator that is used with this one. So there is a this can be said that is the item pointer PTR. So PTR is a pointer variable that is used and that contains a new item. That is, a new is a, we can say new is a keyword that is used to dynamically allocate the memory. Then there is a item, that is the name of the class. This statement allocates enough memory for the data members in the object structure. That is this statement, that is the statement that is used, that is the pointer PTR allocates the enough space for the data members that is obtained or that is contained in the object structure, and assigns the address of the memory space to the PTR. Then PTR can be used to refer to the members as shown below. So PTR is a member variable that is used, or it can be used to display the items by using the arrow operators. As I said, if there is a simple object, simple variable of the class, then it is used with the dot operator. If it is an address, that is a pointer, so it is used with the arrow operator, that is PTR arrow show function. If a class has a constructor with arguments and does not include any empty parent constructors, then we must supply the arguments when the object is created. So whenever it is an empty constructor, that is there is no parent or there is no argument that is used, then we must supply the argument when the object is created. So we can also create an array of objects using the pointer. So there is also provision to create the array of objects that is using the pointers. So this is the example that is used. There is item pointer PTR that is equals to the new item 10. That is the array of the 10 objects that is used. This creates a memory space for an array of 10 objects of the item. Remember, in such cases, if the class contains constructor, it must also contains an empty constructor. This is the program that shows how to use the pointer to the objects. That is a program. The same example, but it is in a program form, that is in with the use of header files, with the use of simple syntaxes, with the use of rules regulation that is used. That is the example. So this says hash include iostream.h, that is the header file, that is the input output stream.h. Then there is a using namespace std. Then there is a class item. So class that is used or that is declared, that is a item. Then there are two parts of data member. So there are two data member that is used. One is the code, one is the price. So these are the two data member that is used. One is the code and one is the price. Now use two member functions. One is the get data to get the data from the user. One is the show function that is used to display the data on the screen, on the we can say on the computer. So in a public part there are two functions. One is the void get data that contains two arguments, that is the a and the b, that is the int a and the float b. Then code equals to a, that is the a will be assigned to the code and the b will be assigned to the price. Then void show void, that is a show is a function that is used, and then there is a void. Then cout code, that is a code. Then cout price, that is a price. Then this is the closing of the class. Then there is a semicolon. Then it is used like constant int size equals to 2. That is a constant is a variable that is used. That means the size or the size variable contains two value at every point of the program, whether it is going upward, whether it is going downward, but it is a 2 always. That is a constant value that is of integer type, that is size equals to 2. Then there is a int main, that is a main function. Then int pointer p, that is a pointer p is used that contains the array element, that is a new item size. Then int pointer t, that contains the p variable or that contains the p value. Then int xi, that is there are two variable that is used, that is the x and the I. Then float y, that is a variable that is used, that is of float type. Now it is used the for loop, that is for I equals to 0, I is less than size I plus plus. So it start with the 0, it end with the size, that is denoted by the or that is a permanent, that is a 2. So it start with the 0, it ends with the 2. So there is a 0 1 only 2 times. Why? Because it is less than 2, not exactly less than equals to 2. What is it? Less than 2. So there are two values, that is a 0 and the 1. Then cout input code and the price for the item, that is a cout, that is simply display on the screen, that is a what is the input code or display the input code and the price for the items, that is a I plus 1. Then cin x and the y, that is x and the y are the two variable that is used, that is the x and the y. Then p dot or the p arrow get data. So get data is the name of the function that is used, that is the get data. And then there is a p arrow, that is the arrow operator is used because it is an we can say it is an address operator, it is a pointer, or it is an address function, right? Then there is a get data, then there is a x and the y. Then there is a p plus plus, that is incrementing the values of p every time it is used. Now another for loop says that is also equals to 0, also less than size, then there is a I plus plus. Then cout item, that is the item will be displayed, that is I plus 1. Then did arrow show data, that is using the show function, it is used, or it is the showing the results, it is using to show the results, whether it is in a pointer variable or it is an dynamically allocated variable. This is the example. First of all, take from the user, that is the input code and the price for item 1. Then there is the get data for getting the data, and the show function is used for showing the output. So this is input code for the and the price for item 1. So this is inputting by the user, that is the code and the price. The code is 40 and the price is 500. Then for item 2, the code is 50 and the price is 600. Now it will use to display the all the values, that is from the 0 and the 1 and the 2. So for item number 1 there is a code that is 40, for example, this is given. Then there is a price that is 50. For item 2 there is a code that is 50. For item 2 there is a price that is 16 or 600. This is printed as it is given in the show function. So in this program we created space dynamically for two objects of equal size. So in this program the new function is used to dynamically allocate the memory, but this may not be the case always. For example, the objects of a class that contain character string must not be of same size. In such a case, we can define an array of pointer to object that can be used to access the individual object. That is how to access the individual objects and use the individual data elements. This is an example that says array of pointer to an object. That is how to use the multiple value, that is an array of pointers to the object. So first of all there is a hash include IOStream, then hash include cstring. So cstring is used for creating the pointers to the object, that is the cstring. So one is the IOStream.h and then the cstring.h. Then using namespace std, then there is a class, that is the name of the class is city. Then there are two data members. One is of char pointer name, that is a pointer name, and then there is a int len, then there is a length variable that is stored or that is of integer type. Then there is a public. In a public part there is a city function that is used, that contains also some code, that is len equals to 0. The length will be assigned to the 0. Then name equals to new char len plus 1, that is a new char function is used for creating the new character that also contains the values in len plus 1. So len plus 1 means after giving the len function there is a len plus 1, that is the next occupied dynamically allocated the memory. Then void get name, that is the get name is the name of the function that is used. Then there is a char pointer s. So pointer s is the name of the variable that is also used, that is a pointer s. Now the s will be assigned to the new char 30, that is the new char is a function that is used. Then new char is a, we can say then new char is an array variable that is used, that contains the 30 values from the 0 to the 29. Then there is a cout, that is enter the city name. So enter the city name, this is also user defined, that takes the data from the user, that is the city name. Then cin s, that is the city name will be stored in the s variable. Then len equals to strlen s, that is the length is a variable that is used, that is equals to the strlen s, that is the strlen is the length of the, or we can say the strlen is a function for the string that is used to compare the two strings. Then name equals to new char len plus 1, that is the name also is a variable that is equals to the new char, then there is a n plus 1 or len plus 1. Then strcpy for copying the function or for copying the data, that is the name and the s. So whatever the value that is contained in the s, that is stored in the name. Then this is also closed, that is for using the get name. Then there is a print name, that is also the same of the show function, that is how to show the function, that is cout name. So the name will be printed as it is, that is the cout name. Then there is a closing of this class. So this is in whole class, that is how to use, that is a class city. Simply there are three functions that is used. One is the city, one is the get name, one is the print name. Now next is main function, that is a main function that is used, that is start with the main, that is the int main. Then city pointer cptr is the pointer variable that is of character array. Then there is a 10 variable total, that is from 0 to 9. Then there is int n equals to 1, that is n will be assigned the value that is 1. Then there is a option, that is option, that is the option that is also of integer type. This CPTR 10 is the array of the 10 pointers to the city. Then the n will be assigned to the value as a 1. Then int caption that is used. Then there is a do operation, that is a do statement that is used. That is CPTR n equals to new city. That is first of all creates the new city, creates the variable that is of new city. Then CPTR n get name. That is the arrow operator is used because CPTR is a function variable or a pointer variable. Then underscore, then get name for getting the names of the various arrays. Then n plus plus, that is the incrementing of the n. Then in the next line it is printed, do you want to enter one more name? That is, one name is sufficient, or do you want to enter one more name? There are two options, one is a y and the n. If there is a n, that is the while option. Enter 1 for the yes, 0 sorry 1 for the yes and the 0 for the no, then see in option. Now this do function is also closed. Now there is a condition. What is the that means this program will execute at least one time if there is any error also, because this is the do while operation. Then there is a while, that is a condition, that is a option. So option is the argument that is passed. Then see out for moving to the next line. Then int I equals to 1, I is less than n, I plus plus. Then cptr I, that is arrow, then print name. So the print name is a function that is used, that is occupied by using the arrow operator, by using the arrow operator that is used with the pointers and the address variable. Then there is a return 0. Now what is the output? For example, user have entered the city name, that is Hyderabad, right? So do you want to enter one more name? 0 for yes, 1 for no. For example, he or she or the user is added one. Then it is added, enter the city name, that is city name will be asked, that is a Kundarbadat. So do you enter one more record? 1 for yes, then it is Malkagiri or the Malkasgiri. So do you want to add more record? 0 for no. So whenever it is asked the questions, it will display, take the input and display the output, that is the Hyderabad, Skandabad and the Malkagiri. So this is the output of this function, that is how to use the multiple functions, how to use the array of pointers. Now next is this pointer, that I'm not going to start right now. First of all, let's take a break, then move to this part, that is the practical part. So let's take a break right now. So come back from the break, and now let's start the session again. So now let's continue with the session with the practical approach. This pointer we will discuss in the next class, that is in tomorrow's class. So let's move to the practical approach, and today I'm going to do the pointers only with the practical approach, that is how to use the pointers in the array, that is how to use the pointers with the array, that is a pointer with the array. That is the main heading, that is how to use the pointer with different arrays. So if it is saying that if I use with the comment, that is pointer with arrays, right? So there is a hash include iostream dot h, then there is a hash include conio dot h, that is conio dot h, right? Then there is a int main, that is a main function. Then there is a int numbers that contains 50 values. Then pointer ptr. Next there are two variables that is declared, that is the n and the I, that is n and the I. Then see out, that is slash n, enter the count. then again there is a slash n, then there is a semicolon, then cin, then there is a n. So there are two variable that is used. Then cout, that is also used for display in the next line, that is enter the numbers one by one. Next, for I equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, this is the for loop. Then in the for loop there is a cin, then there is a numbers, then there is a I. Right. Now assigning the values of numbers to the PTR, that is whatever the values of the numbers, that is assigned to the PTRs. Then int sum equals to 0, then for I equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, then check it out if pointer PTR is modulus 2 equals to 0, then sum equals to sum plus pointer PTR. Then there is a condition, that is PTR plus plus. Then this will also be closed, that is the for loop is closed. Then this will print like cout, that is cout, then there is a slash n, that is sum of even numbers is contained in the sum. Now there is a closing of this one, as well as there is a get ch, and there is a return 0. Now if I compile this code, there is one error, that is a compound statement missing. There is one compound statement missing, that is of curly braces. Yeah, this for loop is not closed, so this is closed over here. Now if I compile, there is again one error, undefined symbol sum, that is not defined, that is a sum, but it is defined over there, that is a sum variable. This is also a sum, this is also a sum, that is assigns the value. So this sum will also be assigns the value, that is equals to, or we have assigned the sum equals to 0 over here, this will be assigned. Now this is sum, that is sum equals to, now again one error, undefined symbol sum. There are two errors, statement missing. So this sum is same as this sum. This is sum, undefined symbol sum. So that is undefined symbol that is used. So that is a for loop that will be used, and then there is a cout, So this for loop will be closed and there is a opening of the outer for loop also. So that will also make an impact. If I delete this one, if I delete this one, that is in one code. Now there is no error because that makes the code very ridiculous. Now enter the count. For example, if I enter the count as a 4, now enter the number, that is 10, 20, 30, 40. The sum of the even numbers is 100 because 10 is also even number, 20 is also even number, 30 is also even number, 40 is also even number. So 10 plus 20 is 30, 30 plus 30 is 60, 60 plus 40 is 100. So that is the sum of even numbers is 100, right? Now if I again compile this code, now there is no clear screen over here. If I give clear screen over here, so that becomes very easy. There is a clear screen over here, the CLR SCR. Now if I execute this code, enter the count. For example, this one, if I enter 12, 33, 26, 49, so the output is sum of even numbers is 38. Why? Because 12 and 26 are two even numbers. That is the 12 plus 26 is 38, and 33 and the 49 are the odd numbers. So that is not added up, that is not calculated. Only two values are calculated, that is the 12 and the 26. That gives the output as a 38. So this is a program that shows how to use the pointers with the array, or what is the relationship between the pointers and the array. So first of all, there is a hash include iostream.h, that is a header file that is used. Then there is a hash include conio.h. So one is a header file, that is the iostream. One is a conio.h, that is a common input output file. Then there is a int main, that is the starting of the main. Then there is a int number 50, that is a numbers is a variable, numbers is the array that contains the 50 values that start with the 0, ends with the 49. Then there is a pointer variable that is used, that is a pointer ptr. So ptr is a pointer variable that point to some integer value. Then int and I, that is there are two variables that is declared, that is the n and the I. Then clear screen for clearing the screen. Then cout, enter the count, that is it is displayed as it is, that is enter the count, that is the count will be displayed, that is enter the count. Then cin n, that is it is used to store the output, or to store the data that is supplied by the user, that is stored in the n variable. Then cout, enter the numbers one by one, that is entering the numbers one by one, that is in the cout. Then for loop will be used, it start with the 0, that is I equals to 0, its end with the n, that is the n that is supplied by the user, that is a count. Then there is a I plus plus, so it start with the 0, its end with the total number of count, that is available, and there is a I plus plus. Then cin numbers I, that is it stores the data one by one of the array. That is first of all it stores the 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, because I have given the value count as a 4. It starts with the 0, it ends with the 3, because I is less than n, that is 0 is less than 4. So it starts with the 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. So there are total 4 values that is stored by using this statement, that is cin numbers I. Now the numbers will be assigned to the ptr. So whatever the number that is given, that is assigned to the pointer variable, that is ptr. Then int sum equals to 0, that is sum is assigned as a value as a 0. Then for I equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. So there are three values, or this is a for loop that start with a 0, again end with n, then I plus plus. That is a inner loop. So first of all it enters the value, in the ptr. Now one more variable is declared, that is the sum equals to 0. Now there is again the inner loop of the for loop that contains the check the condition if the ptr, because ptr now contains the address of the PTR contains a number, and so there is a address variable PTR, that is a pointer, so it contains the addresses of all the numbers. So there's, if the pointer PTR is modulus 2, that is if it is contain the modulus 2, that is equals to 0. So if it is divided by 0 and if the remainder is equals to 0, that the remainder arrives is 0, then sum equals to sum plus pointer PTR. So sum will be given, or sum will be assigned the value, that is the sum plus pointer PTR. So first of all, the sum contains a 0, so 0 plus pointer PTR. So what is a pointer? That contains a number value. So one by one the value will be added to the sum, and PTR is also incremented one by one, so that it will get the new values, and at last sum gets the output which have a remainder 0. So even number always have a remainder 0 when it is divided by 2. So by default the sum of even numbers is calculated and stored in the variable, that is sum. Then there is a get ch, there is a return 0. So this is the program that shows how to use the pointers, how to use the arrays, that is used with the numbers, pointers, sum. So when it is divided by 0, that is modulus 2, that if gives the output as a 2 or output as a 0, then it simply executes the, or gives the sum of the all the even numbers. So this program says how to calculate the arrays variable, or how to calculate the even number, that is how to execute with the even numbers. Now I will save this program. Now this program is clear to each and everyone. Yeah, Larry, this program is clear to you? Yeah, Larry, this program is clear to all of you, so that I can move to the next program. Yeah, Larry, this program is clear to you? Now let's move to the next practical approach, that is we have covered, that is how to use the pointers with the array. Now the next practical approach is, that is the array of the pointers. So till now we have discussed how to use the pointers of an array, or pointers to an array. Now there is a concept that is known as the array of pointer, that is how to use the array, or how to use the array with the pointers, not the pointers with the array, but the arrays with the pointers. So again, go to this one, practical approach. This is a program. That is string.h, next header file that is used, then one more header file that is used, that is a hash include c type.h, right. Then there is a void main, that is the starting of the main. So if we say int main, then int I equals to 0, then char pointer ptr, that is, or that contains the value as a 10, that is equals to, for example, it is mentioned, for example, books, television, then computer, then sports, right. Then one more variable is taken, that is of str, that is of 25 characters, right. Then there is a clr, scr for clearing the screen, then cout, that is enter your favorite book, or yeah, enter your favorite book. Right. Then cin, that is entered in the string, that is cin str. Then for loop is used, that is I equals to 0, I is less than 4, then I plus plus. Then compare the operations, that is if not str cmp, then str, then there is a pointer ptr, then there is a I, then cout, your favorite book is available here, that is as it is printed, that is your available here. Right. Then there is a break for moving to the next line, or if we simply close this one for moving to the next line, that is the opening of, or that is how to use the pointers. Then there is again one more for loop, that is also closed. This is also closed over here. Now if I check the condition, that is if I is equals to 4, then cout, that is simply cout your favorite book is not available over here, your favorite book is not available here, right. Then there is a get ch for moving to the, or for displaying the output. Then there is again the return 0, then int main will be closed, that is the main function. Now if I compile this code, there are 5 errors. Illegal structure, that is the illegal structure that is used, that is str is the illegal structure that is used. That is a string that contains the 25 values. There is a sports. Now again checking, cannot convert into the constant ptr I, that is cannot convert this value to the ptr I, because it is not mentioned available over here. If not strcmp str This is one bracket, so one bracket is missing. Now if I compile, there are three errors. Cannot convert into the constraint structure, that is, it cannot be used to convert this into the structure. Char pointer ptr not compares. Now if I compile again, there are three s2 parameter is used, that is the str, that is parameter is used. It says that it is less than 4, then I plus plus, then this is this one, and if I use over here, that is and L, for example, right, then in the next line if there is a break. Now let's see, if I compile, there are again three errors. Illegal structure operation, that is a C in str, that is a illegal, not a part of this one. So it says it's a illegal instruction that is mentioned. And this is books, that is available, then there is a television, then there is a computer, there is a sports. So there are four items, then there is a closing curly braces, and then there is a semicolon, then char str25, the same, Z out. Oh, this is also very wrong. This is over here. Now if I compile, again there are two errors. Now this says this is not possible to convert. There is operation. We have added the file string.h. Yeah, this is added, that is the string.h is already added. So there is a file, that is a string.h, that is already added, that compares the functions. So there is a function, that is a str, then there is a pointer ptr, then I, then again there is a closing curly braces for this str, and there is a main str. Now if I compile this code again, there are two errors and type mismatch in parameter, this one, that is type mismatch, that is there is a int, there is a char, something missing. Ptr is of char, right, I is of 0, that is of integer, then char string 25, that also contains some values, that is of char, then ptr10, that is a pointer variable. This is the program that shows how to use the pointers with an array. Now if I save this file with the name array to the pointers, right, so this is the program that shows how to use the array with the pointers. So that's all for today's session. Now if there is any doubts, if there is any clarification, you can ask the doubts, you can clarify the doubts, and in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class, I'll be taking your next topic, that is your this pointers, that is the next topic, that is a this pointer. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much everyone for listening me. Bye bye.